But now jobless. What's next for the class of 2020 and how are they coping? We've invited resident advisor and third-year program coordinator at the University of the West Indies, Chantal Artwell. She's going to talk to us some more. But first, Shawnell Ranglin, a 2020 graduate from the University of Technology, shares her experience in the job market since the pandemic.
For me, being a recent graduate in this pandemic surely had its ups and downs for me. I recently completed my Bachelor of Arts in Communication Arts and Technology from the University of Technology, Jamaica, where I did a major in PR and journalism. And as every graduate wishes to land a job right out of university, I did my internship and I got a job in my field area. But COVID happened and I had to leave Kingston and move back home, where I was basically home for a couple months not doing anything and persons weren't hiring, especially in my field area. And I had to be mentally strong and physically strong because it started to take a toll on me, where I basically saw my dreams going downhill. I did not know what was going to happen and the cases were getting higher and higher, and we were like, are things ever going to go back to normal? Surely not. But lucky enough for me, I was able to attain a job, but it's not in the field that I wanted to, and it's not a job that has anything to do with my degree. But I'm thankful enough that I'm able to have an income during this time. However, it's a case where I have to be mentally strong and to know that it's a different situation now, where it's a pandemic and nobody knows what's going to happen. But I'm thankful that I still have an income.
Wow. Wow, that's such a harsh reality for many of our young people. So now Chantal, morning Chantal, joins us. That was a lot to process coming from Chanel. So I'm going to start with, well, I'm starting from the bottom of where my producer had me. Your responsibility is to guide the third years in terms of job market and how they transition into work.
Yes.
How challenging has that been for you? Rather, I should say how extremely challenging, because it must be.
It is very, very, very hard. And it's especially hard because, right now is one of the job market overall is the worst that it has ever been since the Great Depression, which was over 100 years ago. So imagine now, in a time when we have to navigate and fight for jobs, when people who have graduated 2-3 years ago are still searching. So it's been really rough.
Chantal, how does it usually work? So tell me how your job usually works. So I graduate, and then you do what to help place me?
Okay, so my role as a third year coordinator is basically to get the students who are going to be graduating ready for the job market.
Okay.
Right, so that's my job.
Okay, so you give them interview skills. I mean, what are the practical? Okay, right.
Right.
Okay.
So you would tell them the things that you need. What should be on your resume? How do you job hunt? But all of that now we have to change because of the times. And one of the things that we have to realize is how we market ourselves now is different, and how we job hunt is different. And one of the things is, the question is being asked, are there any jobs left? There are jobs left, right? But how do we job hunt?
So how do you job hunt, and how do you market yourself? So how does that change manifest? What does it look like now?
Okay, so usually what we would do is email our resumes, send out applications, but no, that won't work. What really is working is the question asked for a person: how does your LinkedIn profile look? That's one of the things, because recruiters are now job hunting on these sites. Right?
I want to take you back to something that's very important. Chantal, this was an issue before COVID, and that was students graduating and having to repay things like student loan debt. And already it was a little bit of money and you're paying back. Now there's no money. How are the students coping with situations like that?
And one of the other things, is we have to remember that one of the things that the students used to use to pay their way to school is the work and travel program that was cut out.
Right.
So the University of the West Indies is now seeing over 300 students taking a leave of absence.
Wow.
Right. And then you have students who can't continue because they don't have computers, they don't have things to continue.
Yeah.
Good thing about it is the government has given us a longer time to repay loans. So instead of the January repayment, they can now start paying in September.
Okay. So there's
Right.
debt, but there's been a solution to when they will have to.
Temporary solution, because if the students don't get jobs up until September, then how are they going to pay?
Exactly. They still won't have the money, so it won't really matter. There's something Chanel said that was very resonant to me, or that resonated with me. She's talking about being qualified to go out and look for work in a particular field, but she kept talking about the mental fortitude that you had to exhibit. You have to be mentally strong and physically strong. And then she spoke and she came back to the mental strength. A lot of the students, Chantal, are mentally tapped out. They're stressed, they're depressed. Is that what you're facing? And if so, is there anything being put in place for them in terms of counseling support?
Okay, so I can tell you that I'm a recent graduate. I'm a 2020 graduate, and I started sending out applications in March, and I got my first call in July, months later, after sending out hundreds. And the thing is, we don't get responses, but there are some organizations in place, such as the placement and careers units on the Urimona campus, on UTech, on CNU, who help to place people in jobs. And one of the things that I've realized is the students are not using these organizations. Just the other day, I had sent, because I'm actually working in HR right now, and the other day I sent out to a specific university asking them to send 5 candidates my way. When they sent back, they told me only one student reached out and said they wanted an opportunity.
Wow. Okay.
Students do not use these placement and career units of their schools.
Yeah.
So there's some other things now that we have to use. The counseling units are also available, and they're online right now. I know on the Urimona campus right here, they have helplines going out and are available every single day.
And are students using them?
Students are not using them, and that is one of the issues too. I'm not sure if it's a case that the students don't know about them, but they should, because these are things that are in their orientation packages. And this is one thing I encourage the students to do. Please make use of this. My current job is actually from one of these placement and careers units from the Urimona campus. So when they ask, do it, because this is where the recruiters are going.
Yeah.
They're going to universities, they're going into organizations, or they're seeking people from there.
Yeah, I think most students just think schoolwork when they hear about school, but they don't access 50% of the services that are offered on campus. One of the things that Chanel also said, Chantal, was that she had to go back home. That many students from the rural areas who have migrated to urban to try to, for want of a better phrase, find a better life, have not been forced to go back home where there are no opportunities. What's your advice to them as they're watching now?
One of my things, what I would say to them is maximize on the time that they have. Get your resume in order. Get your personal branding out there. Try to be creative and innovative with your degree. Because the regular 9 to 5 may not be there, but we still have to make sure that at the end of the day, when all this lifts, we have something to go back into the world of work. Because employers are going to ask you, what is this gap where the 2020, where the COVID graduates, but they're going to ask us, what is this gap year? What did you do in this gap year? So my advice would be ensure that you find something to fill that gap. And better yourself in your field. If it's even to take some boot camps, some courses, something.
Yeah, and for some folks, they may think hard enough in a bit to survive and find a source of employment, self-employment,
Yes.
by thinking of something that can sustain them that actually works out.
Yeah.
Right, and this is the era of innovation. So there are so many untapped places that we can go into that we've never even known that we can tap into.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're almost out of time, but I have to raise this last issue. People are taking money from graduates and promising them jobs.
Yes, and that's one of the downfalls. And this is it's unfortunate because most of the times you see the God sent pages on Instagram and Twitter who are sending out jobs here, and then after 2 days or 3 days they're going to say, okay, I'm sorry, this was a scam. After people have paid their $3,000, $5,000 to get placed in jobs. Some people go to the jobs and find out that there wasn't a job in the first place.
So this is a time of opportunity, but also a time of opportunity for the scammers.
Exploitation.
Who are always here. It's a shame. Okay, so
Search for ourselves.
So the key takeaways, make sure your online presence, your LinkedIn profile specifically, is up to date.
Right.
And be sure to take advantage of the services offered where you can access the opportunities and be ready and willing to show up when those opportunities arise.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Chantal. Some great words.
Yes.
You should be proud. Well done. Chantal Artwell, Resident Advisor and third-year Program Coordinator at the University of the West Indies. Coming up next,
Rights of an employee facing redundancy. Our
Lots.
special gentleman lined up to tell us more about that, so stick around for it.